Going the extra mile in hands from ABSA, going off the beaten track to find solutions. Our preview of the 8th and final race of the 08 ABSA Off-Road Championship, the RFS Magalies 400 continues, and in the special vehicle class, the battle for the national crown is far from over. There are 3 contenders within 24 points of each other, and the 3-horse race between Kali Solvat, Shamir Variawa and Terence Marsh will be one of spectacular proportions. Palabora's Kali and son Quentin Solvat have been steady, with 1 win in the Eastern Cape and a finish in every one of the 7 races thus far. The new Solvat racing bat has performed exceptionally well under all the conditions the team have thrown at it, and its reliability has been the factor that has set it apart from the other teams. But the 14-point lead they have is a slender one. Remember that a win is worth 25, and the Solvat still have to drop 1 result from their points tally, so the same dilemma that the Ford Camp have in the SP battle. Total Motorsport Shamir Variawa and his nav Siegfried Rousseau produced victories in the desert in Botswana over 1,000 Ks and followed that with another win at Sun City, so they're on a high and have lots of confidence. They drop a non-finish in Leidenburg, so they lose no points, but will need a win in the mountains of the Magaliesberg to put the pressure on the Solwats. And make no mistake, that's what they're planning. As for the 2005 champion, Terence Marsh, well, he and co-driver Peter Groenewald have to pull out all the stops. They need a full house of points to add to their 81 points when they beat the Solwats by 1. If the father and son don't score any points at all, you certainly need a calculator to work out all the permutations. After all, 400 kilometers at the end of a long season can very quickly turn into a long nightmare. It's a mouth-watering prospect, and one that fans of the special vehicle category will relish. That's relish it with mud and all. There's a second father and son combination right up there. Nick and Ryan Harper are 4th in their big turquoise Atlas Copco bat. But after starting off with some racing-stopping car troubles, they've quietly whittled themselves into getting to the finish line. They've got 4 of those in a row now, and should be eyeing a win, especially due to the fact that they are debuting their all-new Spec 4 bat at the RFS Magalies 400.
It's been on the cards for a long time. It's just that being involved with bat racing and customers wanting cars, we obviously have to look after the customers first. So I kept getting pushed to the back of the queue. But we've sold the other Bat Spec 2 to Gary Gillingham, and he's going to be racing it in the next race, and we have to finish this car now, so we're committed.
There's some pressure there. Now, tell us a little more about the new Atlas Copco bat, Nick. It's the 4th edition of the so-called space frame cars.
Yeah, look at the Spec 4. It was launched at the beginning of this year. The first car going to Mike Whitehouse. A few teething problems with that, but that's all been sorted out. And the second car going to Kali Solvat, who's currently leading the championship. Both drivers have done exceptionally well in the Spec 4, and that just shows you that it's going to be a terrific car.
Taking this car out of the box, so to speak, for the first time at the end of the season, is that the ideal scenario or not really?
Yeah, look, we're going to go flat out to win the championship next season. So racing it in a national still this season is good for the car. It will help us with the setup. As you know, it takes a while to set up the suspension, so we want to still learn something this year before we go and launch it in the first race of next year. So it's really to help set the car up. Point standing, we're lying 4th in the championship. As long as we finish up there, we should maintain position, hopefully try and improve it.
Nick has an interesting question. It's the Spec 4. Now, what makes the Spec 4 model so much better than the previous editions? How much can it really be improved?
Look, it's over a period of 5 years, so, products change. The components that go on the car get better and better. Most of these components are imported from America, and also the local racing has changed. So we try and develop a car that changes with the local racing. And when the Spec Naught was launched, that was a very good car at its time. It won its championship that year. In fact, each car that has been launched from Spec 0 to Spec 4 or Spec to Spec 3 has won the championship the year it was launched. and let's hope Magalies does the job now. But you know, this changes every year, and you can't, if you just keep making the same car, you're not going anywhere. So we've been trying to improve each year, and I think you can see Bat Racing has stayed at the top of the board, so it's definitely working what we're doing, you know.
What are the technical differences? How is the Spec 4 that much different to the previous models, and how does it affect things out there?
Narrowing of the track, you know, a lot of the races are run on middle Manaki roads. We see the SP vehicle, which is a commercial vehicle, going very fast on those roads, and that's definitely narrower than these special vehicles. So we've narrowed the track. We've increased the length of the rear arm to give the car more traction. These cars are running very big horsepower, and you know, in the past we've been battling, as we went bigger on the engines, we've been battling to get traction, so that seems to have improved that. This specific model has got even better stuff on it. You know, we've got the Albin's pneumatic gear shift changer on it. That enables it. You still can change the gear with your arm, but you know, we now got gear change from the steering wheel, so you know, all of that will hopefully pick up times.
And pick-up time is what it's all about, and picking it up faster than the rest. Nick's stablemate Gary Bertolt has had 2 wins and very little else, but that's exactly what makes this prologue specialist and his navigator Andre Vermeulen such a big danger out there for all of the other teams. Regent Racing have a second top 5 contender in the lineup. Michael Whitehouse and Matthew Carson line 6th in the championship and will be competitive over the mountainous terrain in the Magaliesburg region. And then don't forget the outgoing special champ, Evan Hutchinson and Achim Bergman. The motorized pairing have a few scores to settle and will want to end off the season on a high note after starting it off with a burnt-out car in the Western Cape. Matthews and Smith are 7th on the National Special Vehicle Championship log, and it certainly proved that they belong in this type of esteemed company. A team such as this could very well snatch a win from more fancy teams and upset the best laid plans. Herman Silwart and Paul Helberg and the new Silwart Racing Zarko Magnum have a lot to prove and will also love to pressurize the top teams ahead of them on the log. With a new route in the offing, that is very possible. Loader Brain and Rudy Brits lead Class B, and they'll feel the pressure. All they have to do is get it to the finish line in one piece. Kilnell and Dion de Kock are 2nd in Class B, and the title chase is on. And in Class B, it's the brothers Besaidnout, Johan and Etienne, who lead by exactly 10 points. They'll want to make a splash and win the national title outright. But the 2 Dons, Thompson and Blakey, will need to produce a win to clinch the points needed to overtake them on the log before they can pop open the bubbly. The dices are loaded, the plans have been made. Now it's up to the weather, Lady Luck, and a great big dollop of courage as the Silwarts try to hold off the Total Motorsport pairing, as well as Marsh and Groenewald. A motor racing treat of note. The prologue gets underway with a quarter-mile sprint, and then they hit the road for the time trial. On Saturday, it's G for go at 8:30, and a week later we'll bring you all the racing. Until then, you keep it on the road, we'll keep it off-road.